Welcome back into the Viking Central podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to rank some quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft. Obviously, it's a pretty top heavy draft with some guys that are kind of, floating around maybe the middle rounds, maybe some second round guys, depending on how people value a couple of these quarterbacks. But a really good class overall, especially again at the top end of the draft. Just really excited to go over this. Obviously, the Vikings are in play for a quarterback here coming up in April. Got the 11th and the 23rd pick. Who could we kind of look at? Who is someone we're probably not going to look at? Going to be interesting to see. Before we get into it, I just want to shout out our sponsor. That's Badass Wood Art. Use VC15 for 15% off at checkout. You see him down there in the right-hand corner. You go to his Twitter, his Facebook. His name is Luis. Does an amazing job. Also go over to his website. Just type in That's Badass Wood Art on Google, and you will find him. Just does an amazing custom work. Minnesota Vikings, pretty much any Minnesota sports, pop culture, custom family portraits, anything you could ever imagine. Again, thanks for sponsoring. That's Badass Wood Art. Use VC15 for 15% off at checkout. All right, let's get into the rankings. We're gonna start at number 5, then go down to number 1. My 5th ranked quarterback. I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. Is Michael Penix Jr. Really love his arm. Obviously, his arm talent is off the charts. Maybe him and Caleb Williams, arm talent-wise, right up there. Just got a super strong arm, pretty accurate, especially in the intermediate to deep range passes. Does need some work with his footwork, just kind of his mechanics. Obviously, his launch point on his release, kind of really unorthodox. Something that they're probably going to work with in the NFL. Probably not going to be a first-year starter guy, but let him sit, let him learn, let him, clean up some of those mechanics. And I think in the right situation, he can be a successful quarterback in this league. I'm thinking probably the back end of the first round, probably like the final 10 picks of the first round or early second round. I can see someone trading back in or someone just selecting them back there. Depending on the needs, if Minnesota stays at 23, he could be an option if they haven't already took a quarterback. But I could see if someone's interested at the top of the second round, trade back in to get that 5th-year option. Michael Penix Jr. Really love him as a prospect. Going to number 4. Now, this could surprise some people. J.J. McCarthy. Now, I'm pretty high on J.J. McCarthy. He could be a Viking here in about 5 to 6 weeks. Really accurate, really poised. Obviously won a national championship. People say he got carried by Blake Corum and by the defense and the running game. And I don't see that. He made some really big-time level throws. And I heard Thor Nystrom talking a little bit. Love Thor. Got to shout him out. He's one of the highest accurate passers on the run. I think it's like 72% in the pocket. And if he goes on the run, on the move, he's still 71% or so, completing passes down the field. And he's very accurate. He's got the arm strength, very underrated arm strength, 61 mile per hour velocity at the combine. I think he'd be really good in Kevin O'Connell's system here in Minnesota. He is only 21 years old or so he's got time to develop. If he does end up in Minnesota, doesn't have to start right away. Let Sammy Darnold take the reins in 2024, and 2025 comes around, he's going to have a stacked offense. And again, I think he can be successful here in Minnesota. Number 3, Jayden Daniels. Now, Jayden Daniels, I've heard some comps. People say he's kind of got the C.J. Stroud, really good in the pocket, accurate deep ball. He is pretty mobile. He needs to kind of tone it down a little bit, especially hard-hitting safety, hard-hitting linebackers in the NFL. You're not going to last long in this league if you're going to rely on your legs a lot. And I think he's got the talent to be a really good passer in the NFL. He's really good in the pocket, but does like to move and be mobile. He is my number 3 quarterback. I think he's probably not the best fit in Kevin's offense or in Minnesota here, but I think he could come in and they could make it work. And I think he could turn into an elite level playmaker, elite level quarterback here in Minnesota. Number 2, Drake May, my number 1 guy from Minnesota. Just a guy that kind of does it all. He's not great under pressure. Something that kind of worries me a little bit, but he does have amazing arm talent, accuracy down the field, pinpoint accuracy. If you need someone to fit it into a tight window, Drake May's your guy. Just really good in the pocket when he's got time, can do it on the run. Can be a little off script. He is mobile when he needs to use it, but love him as a prospect. If he somehow slides a little bit, if Minnesota can somehow get to number 3, if he's still available with New England, I wouldn't mind trading the farm for Drake May, because I think he's got potential to be a top 5, 6, 7 quarterback in this league when he reaches his potential. Love him as a prospect. Now, I know this is, the popular opinion, Caleb Williams at number 1, but just amazing prospect, one of the best that we've seen probably since Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence has been a really good quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think he's been anywhere near elite. But Chicago's doing a decent job filling the holes with some talent. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, 2 really solid wide receivers. In the wide receiver room over there, they signed DeAndre Swift. I don't know how great DeAndre Swift is going to be in Chicago. I think he's going to be fine, but he's not going to probably be as good as he was in Philadelphia. Pretty much anyone in Philadelphia can go get a big contract after they play there for a few years, like Miles Sanders and stuff like that. But I think they're doing enough to surround Caleb Williams' talent where he can be successful. I don't know if he's going to be an MVP level candidate his first handful of years, but if he does get it figured out and all this translates to the NFL, he's going to be a superstar. And unfortunately for Minnesota, he's probably going to be at Chicago, but you never know. You never know. Chicago hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer in their history. Caleb could break it his rookie year, but we shall see. Going to be interesting. Those are my top 5 quarterbacks. I think the top 3 are pretty for sure. I know there's been talk JJ McCarthy might jump Drake May, but I don't see it in my book. I think these are my rankings. If they're wrong, that's your opinion. This is just my opinion. Glad we could talk about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless and have a great rest of your day.